Mary Magdalene has long been a figure shrouded in mystery and controversy. For centuries, her story has been shaped and reshaped, often reflecting the agendas of those in power. Was she a repentant sinner, a devoted disciple, or something far more profound? In this video, we will explore the terrifying truths about Mary Magdalene. Truths that challenge conventional narratives and uncover the secrets the Church may never have wanted you to know. Prepare to delve into history, theology, and hidden texts to uncover the real Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene's role within Jesus' circle of followers has often been minimized in traditional narratives, but evidence from canonical Gospels, historical accounts, and apocryphal texts paints a much richer and more complex picture of her life and influence. The New Testament Gospels consistently describe Mary Magdalene as a devoted follower of Jesus, present at key moments in his ministry and crucifixion, and among the first to witness his resurrection. Yet, despite this significant role, she is seldom highlighted in the same way as the male apostles. One of the most striking aspects of Mary Magdalene's portrayal is her unwavering loyalty to Jesus. While other disciples fled during the crucifixion, she remained by his side, offering her support in a moment of unimaginable despair. This courage set her apart from the other disciples and positioned her as a figure of unparalleled faith and resilience. Furthermore, the Gospels emphasize her presence at the tomb on Easter morning, making her the first person to encounter the risen Christ. This event is monumental, as it establishes her as the initial witness to the cornerstone event of Christianity, the resurrection. Early church fathers even referred to her as the Apostle to the Apostles, recognizing her unique role in delivering this news to the disciples. However, her significance doesn't end with the biblical accounts. When exploring non-canonical texts, such as the Gospel of Mary and other Gnostic writings, Mary Magdalene's role expands dramatically. In these texts, she is depicted as a trusted confidant of Jesus, receiving teachings and revelations that were not shared with the other apostles. These accounts suggest that she held a leadership position within the early Christian movement, challenging the patriarchal structures that later came to dominate the Church. Why then did her story become so diminished? Some scholars believe it was a deliberate effort by early church leaders to suppress her influence. As Christianity evolved from a grassroots movement to an institutionalized religion, the leadership sought to establish male dominance in both theology and practice. By downplaying Mary Magdalene's role and emphasizing the authority of male apostles like Peter, the Church reinforced a patriarchal narrative that shaped its structure for centuries. The Gnostic Gospels, unearthed in the mid-20th century near Nag Hammadi in Egypt, have offered new insights into Mary Magdalene's prominence in early Christianity. These texts provide a radical departure from the New Testament's portrayal, presenting her as a central figure in the spiritual teachings of Jesus. In the Gospel of Mary, for example, she engages in deep philosophical discussions with the other disciples, revealing her profound understanding of Jesus' message. Her insights and wisdom often outshine those of the male apostles, leading to jealousy and conflict. One of the most compelling aspects of these texts is the intimate relationship they describe between Mary Magdalene and Jesus. While there is no definitive evidence of a romantic connection, the Gnostic texts suggest a level of closeness that surpasses that of the other disciples. Jesus is shown confiding in Mary, entrusting her with esoteric knowledge and defending her against the skepticism of the male apostles. This depiction challenges traditional interpretations and raises questions about the nature of their relationship and its implications for early Christian theology. The suppression of these texts by the early church speaks volumes about the power dynamics at play. By marginalizing Mary Magdalene's role and excluding these writings from the biblical canon, the church effectively erased a narrative that could have offered a more egalitarian vision of Christianity. The Gnostic portrayal of Mary Magdalene as a spiritual leader and custodian of hidden knowledge threatened the hierarchical and male-dominated structure the church sought to establish. The rediscovery of the Gnostic Gospels has reignited interest in Mary Magdalene's true role within the early Christian movement. These texts challenge us to reconsider her story, not as a peripheral figure, but as a central and transformative force in the life of Jesus and the development of his teachings. Her legacy, as revealed through these writings, is one of courage, wisdom, and unwavering devotion, qualities that continue to inspire and resonate with those seeking to uncover the hidden truths of history. The image of Mary Magdalene as a repentant prostitute has become one of the most enduring misconceptions in Christian history. But this characterization is rooted in centuries of misinterpretation, deliberate distortion, and institutional agendas. To uncover the truth about her identity, we must examine the origins of this myth, how it came to dominate her legacy, and the deeper implications of her unjust portrayal. The canonical Gospels never describe Mary Magdalene as a prostitute. Instead, they highlight her as a devoted follower of Jesus, someone who had been healed by him and who played a pivotal role in his ministry. Luke's Gospel mentions that she had been freed from 7 demons, which many scholars interpret as a metaphor for illness or spiritual oppression, not moral failing. Nowhere in the New Testament is there any direct reference to Mary Magdalene being a sinner or engaging in sex work. So how did this idea become so closely associated with her name? The answer lies in a pivotal moment in the history of the Church. In 591 CE, Pope Gregory I delivered a sermon in which he conflated Mary Magdalene with an unnamed sinful woman mentioned in Luke 7:36-50, who anoints Jesus' feet with perfume and wipes them with her hair. Gregory went a step further, merging this unnamed woman with Mary of Bethany, the sister of Martha and Lazarus, as well as with Mary Magdalene. This erroneous amalgamation transformed Mary Magdalene into a figure of repentance, reducing her role as a prominent disciple to that of a fallen woman redeemed by Christ. Pope Gregory's sermon served a purpose beyond simple misinterpretation. By portraying Mary Magdalene as a repentant sinner, the Church was able to shift attention away from her leadership and spiritual authority, recasting her as a symbol of penitence and humility. This reimagining fit neatly within the patriarchal framework of the Church, which sought to subordinate women's roles and exclude them from positions of authority. Mary Magdalene, who'd been a leader and confidant in Jesus' ministry, was instead presented as a cautionary tale, reinforcing traditional gender roles and the moral supremacy of male apostles. The consequences of this distortion were profound. For centuries, Mary Magdalene was venerated as a sinner turned saint, her true significance obscured by a narrative that emphasized her supposed moral failings. This misrepresentation not only diminished her role in the story of Jesus, but also contributed to the marginalization of women within Christianity. By framing Mary Magdalene as a figure of penitence rather than leadership, the Church set a precedent that excluded women from positions of influence and authority. Efforts to reclaim the truth about Mary Magdalene's identity have gained momentum in recent decades, fueled by advances in biblical scholarship, archaeology, and feminist theology. Scholars have meticulously dissected the historical record, separating fact from fiction and challenging centuries of entrenched dogma. The discovery of the Gnostic Gospels has also been instrumental in reshaping our understanding of Mary Magdalene, offering an alternative narrative that celebrates her as a spiritual leader and a key figure in the early Christian movement. One of the most compelling arguments against the prostitute myth is the sheer inconsistency of the biblical evidence. The Gospels mention several women named Mary, but there is no reason to conflate Mary Magdalene with the unnamed woman in Luke's account. Moreover, the emphasis on her financial support of Jesus' ministry, described in Luke 8:13, suggests that she was a woman of means, not someone ostracized by society. This portrayal aligns more closely with the image of a respected disciple than that of a marginalized sinner. The modern re-evaluation of Mary Magdalene's legacy has profound implications, not just for how we understand her story, but for the broader role of women in Christianity. By reclaiming her identity as a leader, teacher, and devoted follower of Jesus, we can begin to challenge the patriarchal narratives that have shaped the Church for centuries. Mary Magdalene's true story is one of strength, wisdom, and unwavering faith, a legacy that resonates deeply in the ongoing struggle for gender equality within religious institutions. Ultimately, the effort to restore Mary Magdalene's rightful place in history is about more than correcting a historical inaccuracy. It is about reclaiming a vision of Christianity that values and honors the contributions of all its followers, regardless of gender. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that the truth, no matter how deeply buried, can inspire new generations to question, learn, and seek a more inclusive understanding of faith. The idea that Mary Magdalene was entrusted with secret teachings by Jesus is a theme that has fascinated scholars and spiritual seekers for centuries. This notion is rooted in early Christian texts, particularly those outside the traditional biblical canon, which present her as a figure of profound spiritual insight and as someone who received esoteric knowledge not shared with the other apostles. These teachings, if authentic, could have posed a significant challenge to the hierarchical and doctrinal structures of the early church. The Gospel of Mary, a Gnostic text discovered in the late 19th century, is one of the most compelling sources supporting the idea of Mary Magdalene as a recipient of secret teachings. In this text, Mary recounts a vision she received from Jesus after his resurrection. She shares these revelations with the other disciples, describing profound spiritual truths about the nature of the soul, the material world, and the path to salvation. Her teachings emphasize inner knowledge and direct experience of the divine, a stark contrast to the more institutionalized and dogmatic approach that would later dominate Christianity. What makes the Gospel of Mary particularly striking is the reaction of the male disciples to her words. While some, like Levi, defend her, others, such as Peter, express skepticism and jealousy. Peter questions why Jesus would entrust such knowledge to Mary rather than to the male apostles, revealing a tension that likely mirrors real debates within the early Christian community. This dynamic suggests that Mary's leadership and insight were viewed as a threat by some, leading to efforts to marginalize her role and diminish her contributions. The Gospel of Philip, another Gnostic text, further amplifies the idea of Mary Magdalene as a bearer of hidden wisdom. This text refers to Mary as Jesus' companion and suggests a deep and intimate relationship between them, though the exact nature of this relationship remains a topic of debate. More importantly, the Gospel of Philip hints at a transmission of secret knowledge, suggesting that Mary Magdalene held a unique understanding of Jesus' teachings. This has led some scholars to speculate that she may have been a key figure in preserving and transmitting his message during a period of great upheaval and transformation. The notion of secret teachings entrusted to Mary Magdalene challenges the traditional narrative of Jesus' ministry and the early church. If Jesus indeed shared special knowledge with her, it raises questions about the nature of this wisdom and why it was excluded from the biblical canon. The early church's decision to suppress texts like the Gospel of Mary and the Gospel of Philip suggests a deliberate effort to control the narrative and consolidate authority within a male-dominated hierarchy. By silencing Mary Magdalene's voice and excluding her teachings, the Church was able to establish a theological framework that emphasized conformity and obedience over personal spiritual experience. This suppression of Mary Magdalene's secret teachings also has implications for the broader understanding of early Christianity. The Gnostic emphasis on inner knowledge and spiritual exploration represents a radically different approach to faith than the Orthodox model that emerged as Christianity became institutionalized. Mary Magdalene's portrayal in these texts aligns with the Gnostic tradition, positioning her as a guide to deeper truths and a model of spiritual independence. Her story invites us to consider the diversity of thought within early Christianity and to question the authority of the dominant narrative. Modern interpretations of Mary Magdalene's secret teachings often focus on their potential relevance to contemporary spirituality. Her emphasis on inner knowledge and direct experience of the divine resonates with those seeking a more personal and less dogmatic approach to faith. Her story has inspired feminist theologians who view her as a symbol of empowerment and a reminder of the lost potential for female leadership within Christianity. By reclaiming her legacy, they hope to challenge patriarchal structures and promote a more inclusive and egalitarian vision of faith. The idea that Mary Magdalene was entrusted with secret teachings is more than just a historical curiosity. It is a reminder of the richness and complexity of early Christianity. Her story encourages us to look beyond the official narrative and to explore the diverse voices and perspectives that shaped the faith in its formative years. Whether or not the teachings attributed to her were truly secret, they offer a powerful vision of spirituality that emphasizes wisdom, courage, and the transformative power of personal experience. In reclaiming this vision, we not only honor Mary Magdalene's legacy, but also open ourselves to a deeper and more expansive understanding of faith. In recent years, Mary Magdalene has experienced a profound re-evaluation, with scholars, theologians, and spiritual seekers reclaiming her legacy and uncovering her significance in ways that challenge centuries of tradition. This modern rediscovery of Mary Magdalene is rooted in a combination of academic research, archaeological findings, and a growing desire for a more inclusive and authentic understanding of Christian history. Her story has become a symbol of resilience and transformation, offering inspiration to those seeking to reconcile faith with contemporary values. The rediscovery of Mary Magdalene began in earnest with the mid-20th century discoveries of the Nag Hammadi Library in Egypt, a collection of ancient Gnostic texts that included works such as the Gospel of Mary and the Gospel of Philip. These texts presented a radically different portrayal of Mary Magdalene, emphasizing her spiritual authority, her intimate relationship with Jesus, and her role as a teacher and leader within the early Christian movement. The publication of these works ignited widespread interest, prompting scholars to reconsider her place in history and her significance within the broader context of Christianity. One of the most transformative aspects of this rediscovery has been the shift in how Mary Magdalene is viewed. No longer relegated to the role of a repentant sinner, she is increasingly recognized as a key figure in Jesus' ministry and as a leader in her own right. This shift has been bolstered by a re-examination of the canonical Gospels, which consistently highlight her devotion, courage, and centrality to the resurrection narrative. By focusing on what the texts actually say, rather than centuries of misinterpretation, scholars have been able to peel back layers of myth and uncover a more nuanced and empowering image of Mary Magdalene. Archaeological discoveries have also contributed to this renewed understanding. Excavations in Magdala, a town on the Sea of Galilee traditionally associated with Mary Magdalene, have revealed a first-century synagogue and other structures that provide insights into the cultural and religious context in which she lived. These findings suggest that Magdala was a thriving community with a strong Jewish heritage, challenging earlier assumptions about Mary's background and highlighting the sophistication of the society from which she emerged. Such discoveries add depth to her story, offering a glimpse into the world that shaped her faith and her relationship with Jesus. In addition to historical and archaeological research, feminist theology has played a crucial role in reclaiming Mary Magdalene's legacy. For centuries, women have been marginalized within Christianity, their contributions overlooked or dismissed. Mary Magdalene's story, with its emphasis on strength, wisdom, and leadership, has become a rallying point for those seeking to challenge patriarchal structures within the Church. Feminist theologians have drawn attention to her role as the apostle to the apostles and have highlighted the ways in which her story has been distorted to serve institutional agendas. This feminist perspective has led to a broader recognition of the diversity and complexity of early Christianity. The rediscovery of Mary Magdalene invites us to consider the alternative paths that the faith might have taken if her teachings and leadership had been fully embraced. It also challenges us to confront the ways in which historical narratives are shaped by power and to seek out the voices that have been silenced or excluded. By honoring Mary Magdalene's true story, we can begin to build a more inclusive and authentic understanding of Christianity, one that values the contributions of all its followers, regardless of gender. Mary Magdalene's modern rediscovery extends beyond academic circles and religious institutions. Her story has resonated deeply with artists, writers, and filmmakers who have sought to reimagine her life and legacy for contemporary audiences. From novels and movies to paintings and sculptures, her image has become a symbol of transformation, redemption, and spiritual empowerment. These creative interpretations often draw on the latest scholarship, weaving together historical research and artistic imagination to present a Mary Magdalene who is complex, multifaceted, and deeply human. Her story has also found a place in popular spirituality, where she is celebrated as a model of inner strength and spiritual insight. Many see her as a guide to navigating the challenges of faith and as a reminder of the transformative power of love and devotion. Her emphasis on personal experience and direct connection with the divine resonates with those seeking an alternative to institutionalized religion, making her an enduring figure of inspiration and hope. The rediscovery of Mary Magdalene is about more than just correcting historical inaccuracies. It is about reclaiming a vision of Christianity that values diversity, challenges injustice, and seeks to uncover the truth. Her story reminds us that faith is not static but dynamic, shaped by the people and communities who live it. By embracing the full complexity of her legacy, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, our history, and the spiritual traditions that continue to shape our lives. Mary Magdalene's journey from obscurity to prominence is a testament to the enduring power of truth and the resilience of the human spirit, offering a vision of faith that is as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago.